things can change in the NFL like that. Injuries, rookies popping off, guys exceeding expectations, guys underperforming, quarterbacks getting switched out. All this stuff is outside of our control, but really impacts fantasy football. A lot of it's unfortunate, and it was unfortunate today because Jerry Jeudy was injured, was carted off, and now we got to watch the tea leaves, watch the news, see what happens with them. But now we got to pay attention to Marvin Mims, rookie wide receiver from Oklahoma. This guy's an exciting prospect, has an awesome highlight package from Oklahoma, has good both production and athletic metrics as well. This is a player that went in the second round that looks like he could potentially break out anytime during his career and is a guy you need to pay attention to, especially now that the depth chart's starting to open up for him to get this opportunity, and he could be a guy that could help you in fantasy football here soon. Let's take a look at the stats real quick, but before you do, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Give it a tap with the finger on your phone, click it with the mouse on your computer. You got to do so you can get ready for your drafts. Get ready for the fantasy football season because we're talking about these players nonstop. These rookies, these players about to pop off, these sleepers, these veterans. We talk about all of them here. College football, everything. Hit that subscribe button. Stop missing out. But dig it in here to Marvin Mims. Age 19 breakout with a 20.59% market share. This is during his sophomore season. Almost broke out during his freshman year. Was a few percentage points away from that. So really, this guy's been productive throughout his career because last year had a 32% market share as well. That's ownership of the passing production. Also had 2.66 yards per team pass attempt. Really heavily evolved in the team's passing offense. Big weapon in the offense at Oklahoma and has been a highlight machine nonstop throughout his collegiate career. A wide receiver that was on the radar in drafts, went to the second round to the Broncos, has a very good profile coming out of college. And also, he was very efficient. He was used downfield, 16.3 average depth of target, which means at the NFL level and what the Broncos scouted him as is an air yards guy, a deep ball specialist, a guy you can target downfield. And what that means to us in fantasy means that if you connect on a couple of those deep balls, that means you're going to get a spike week here and there. You're going to get top-tier fantasy production here and there. And on top of that, when you watch the highlight package, he's nuanced. He runs crisp routes. Good ball skill. He attacks the ball when it's in the air. Has that my ball mentality. Had 2.71 yards per route run. 8.5 yards after the catch per reception. Guy's efficient from route to route. Gets yards after the catch. There's not much more you want from a wide receiver. Fell to the second round. You're catching him at a discount. Has a good profile here. And he's 5'11", 183 pounds. A lot of wide receivers at that height and weight range in this year's draft. And a lot of them got drafted higher in the first round. The thing about this, Broncos just caught him at a discount because his metrics, not too far off. Was productive in the Big 12. More productive than Quentin Johnston against the same competition. More productive than some of the other wide receivers drafted in the first round. Was also an early breakout. Was also hyper athletic, as we see here. 4.38 40-yard dash, 61st percentile speed score, but that's due to the size. But you're hitting the 4.3s. You can get downfield with that. Good burst score. Comparable to Darnell Mooney. That makes sense. Size adjusted speed wise. 4.3 players who can excel downfield, who are very nuanced. Broke out early in college. Was a cog in the machine at Oklahoma. Guy can be productive. Looking at Denver here, Jerry Jeudy injured. Tim Patrick out for the year. Lot to contend here. So targets are going to open up as Jerry Jeudy saw 94 targets last year in 14 games. Courtland Sutton, 102 targets last year. And the thing about Courtland Sutton, it's hard to get him to play a full season too. So there's going to be some opportunities here. Because after those two wide receivers, it's Mims and some jabronis. And Mims has upside. Mims has nuance. Very good route runner. Good ball skills. Could really exceed expectations in this offense. Could be a guy that can really help you win your league. And the price is there. He is a free spin at this draft capital. And in some formats, you're looking at CBS and ESPN here, they don't even have ADP for him. They don't have him drafted in those formats because they don't have a big enough sample right now. But he is going to jump up boards. He's up there in underdog fantasy. He's a 12th rounder. In a lot of other formats, he's later than that, looking like an 18th rounder when you average all the leagues, all the formats together, whether it's NFL, Yahoo, ESPN, FFPC, high stakes leagues. He is a little bit all over the place, but is a double-digit round dandy. The price is going to increase. People are going to take a stab at him at this cheap cost, and his price is going to rise, but the upside's there due to him being able to get downfield, due to him getting those targets. The Broncos invested in the offensive line this year, so Russell Wilson's going to have more time to throw the ball. We're going to have some opportunities here. He's a guy that you may want to take a chance on. You may want to, and you need him if you want the upside. You need upside, this is a guy to do so with, because he's got plenty of it. You got juicy depth chart here where he's going to get some opportunity. If you want to chase a guy who gets air yards and chase those spike weeks, this is the guy that you can do it with because he's going to be getting downfield. He's going to be getting deep targets when he's able to run routes and see snaps. You don't need him because you're not patient with rookies. You can't handle waiting the first few weeks of the season, seeing what happens with this guy. You need stability with a vet. This is probably a player that you may want to stay away from. You may want to get something that's more stable, more guaranteed to get you something in terms of fantasy points, or you're drafting running backs in the spot. You went 0 RB, hero RB, and you have to smash the running back position. You're not in a spot to take late round flyers or mid round flyers at wide receivers because you loaded up early, and now you got to play chase with those running backs to catch up and get a depth chart of running backs that have something to really play with. So there are different reasons why you need and don't need him, but he is a very important player in fantasy football right now. He's a very important player in fantasy right now because there's a lot of upside here, a lot of untapped potential. Can get deep downfield, has good ball skills, depth charts opening up. We do not know how long Jerry Jeudy is going to be out, but considering the history of these wide receivers on this depth chart, on this team, more than likely, there's a chance that one or two of these wide receivers see some injuries and he gets some opportunity. He's got a good quarterback with Russell Wilson, depending on what you thought of him last year, I guess. But again, things should be opening up with Sean Payton and company. Sean Payton did not have many draft picks this year, and they decided to burn one of them, one of the top ones, on Marvin Mims. That's another note to have on him. But he is a good player, has upside. Look at his highlights, look at his tape, look at the metrics. Everything checks out. He checks all the boxes, really. He checks all the boxes, all the top wide receivers, the Zay Flowers, the Jack Smith and Jigbas, all those guys. He checks the same boxes, just a little bit later draft capital. He's on the Broncos. Might get his opportunity sooner than later, and you're getting him a lot cheaper, like 6 to 5 rounds cheaper than those other wide receivers. So if you want an upside rookie wide receiver and you don't want to pay that price tag for the other guys, maybe you go after Marvin Mims. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I want to hear about that. Tap that subscribe button on the way out. Catch you on the next